sacred, that sacrifice.
I'm Captain the Untamed Oracle, and this is your weekly collective reading. My readings tend to speak to women who are going through a spiritual awakening, maybe women who are healing from generational trauma, codependency. People really don't do readings for people who have chronic illness, so that tends to come through in my reading. So if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've already been with me for a while, thank you for joining me again in my corner on the internet. I appreciate you, and we're going to get straight into this reading, but I'm going to be giving some self-care tips. I'm going to be giving out a lot of different information. I'm not a medical professional, but I'm somebody who got a lot of experience with a lot of things dealing with the physical body. So though my readings are inclined to be spiritually focused, I do integrate everything that I teach and speak. And so yes, without further ado, let's do what we do. So I hope that you're having a good week, and we're gonna get started first with my crystal deck. Let's just go the way we've been doing because it feels right for me. All right. Yeah, I don't know who I'm attracting and calling in. I just know I've had times, I have readers that I love to listen to. And, but you know, sometimes I say to myself, it would be nice if somebody would read for people who are dealing with this. Cause I mean, it's not a rare thing. Like, especially since the lockdowns and stuff, a lot of people that I know, their physical health, they just notice it's not the same. Whether it's their energy levels, they're feeling burnout, ADHD burnout, autistic burnout. A lot of women are burnt out. Women that work for corporations, women that run businesses are burnt out. And, you know, I've done so many personal readings all around the world, and there are these commonalities. And so I just kind of want to fill the gaps in and share where I feel like there isn't enough guidance, because there's definitely enough readers. Okay, so whatever drew you to me, know that that was a divine assignment between us. All right, here we go. This week, what message do you have to share for this week? Okay, crystal towel. Crystal towel, I love this crystal, so beautiful. I love this crystal. This crystal represents animals. And interesting enough, because whether you are an animal lover or not, all cultures have this spiritual significance of animals. And so I want you to really start paying attention to the animals that are showing up on your path, because they have a message for you. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like an animal, like what you identify as your spirit animal, because spirit animals change from season to season. It's not always the same, right? So I do have some spirit animals that are like consistently my spirit animals, but I also have spirit animals that show up from season to season. And like, that's why this is coming up, because you have actually, it is an ancestral connection to the animal that's showing up. So the next time something catches your attention, if you don't already know, like, do some research and see, like, what is the significance of this animal. And one thing that I know that has happened to me over and over again, when somebody that I love transitions, I oftentimes will see a red or blue bird. It's usually a red bird, but on occasions it's been a blue bird. And it just was so out of the ordinary. It could be like a blue bird amongst a bunch of pigeons just fly by. And like, they don't usually be hanging out with each other like that. And so those are messages, and it will make me teary-eyed sometimes, because I would know that that was them letting me know, like, they're okay. And it's okay for me to grieve and process that, but to be encouraged and know that they're okay. And not only that, but that they're going to be available to assist me through my journey, and to talk to them and not treat them like they're not here. And actually my right ear just started ringing as I was saying this. The ears ringing is usually like ancestral spirit guides, that frequency can cause ringing in the ears. So that's just confirmation of what I'm saying. So keep your eyes out for that, okay? Because it's a message for you. I can hear y'all now, and you go be like, this is wild. Like, I just was riding down the street and saw a fucking coyote on the side of the street. I can just hear y'all like, this is wild. That is crazy. And I got home and I looked it up, and it really spoke to me. Like, it spoke to exactly where I am right now. It was the message I needed. Don't underestimate animals. I'm telling you, they are so connected to the spirit realm. And a lot of animals move between dimensions. So, you know, keep that in mind, because you could also send messages. Moonstone. Moonstone represents cycles. I love moonstone. It's one of my most favorite crystals. So you are going through a cycle where a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are shifting for you. You might even feel like the ground under you is just, it's not solid, it's not stable. It might be situations where it just seems like, you know, stability has been something that has been difficult to attain, like, consistently. And that could be wreaking havoc on your nervous system, because it's like, I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who you feel more comfortable when you feel like you got a plan and you can kind of control what's happening to you, but you're going through a cycle where some things are just out of your control, and it could be very well connected to something that's going on in your natal chart. I can offer natal chart readings as well. In my readings, you could say, I want to focus on my natal chart if you want to. So if you want to book a one-on-one, you can. We can look into that and see what's happening for you. But you are going through a cycle where some of the things that once served you aren't serving you anymore the way that they used to. And I mean, let's just be real. It's stuff that you could feel like phasing out of your life, and you kept asking for what it was that you desired, right? So sometimes we have resistance to letting go, but that yearning, that desire, that feeling that I'm worthy of more, or I'm worthy of this, or whatever it is so strong that it will literally start to purge people, places, and things from your life. And I think letting go, surrendering, and allowing the change and transformation that we want to happen is probably one of the most difficult parts of this spiritual ascension journey, because we're just not really good at letting things go. And, you know, for a lot of us who are on this journey, one thing that we have in common for sure, we all experience some level of trauma, whether it's big T or little t, it's on the spectrum somewhere. And trauma alone causes you to feel unsafe when things are out of your control. So I just want you to know, like, your wounded inner child right now needs you to be the parent to yourself that maybe wasn't modeled for you as a kid, but you need to be that right now to that part of you. And maybe you need to talk to her and say it's okay, or him and say it's okay that, you know, things are changing. Yes, some things are out of our control, but hey, as a kid, so much was out of our control, and I'm still standing, and I made it this far. And that's a testament to our resilience, and we're going to get through this. And I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to ever leave you. I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to learn how to let go of toxic, dysfunctional patterns. I'm going to learn how to work through my coping mechanisms that may be hurting me, you know, and if it's hurting us, I don't want to hurt us. And so I want you to watch me be safety and stability for you. And I'm going to actually take the time out and do things to regulate my nervous system. I'm actually going to invest energy in into us. I'm going to make deposits into our worth. I'm going to do things that's going to help me to feel confident even when things are happening that are out of my control. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. You can count on me. And your inner child, if you haven't been talking like this to these parts of yourself, because oftentimes when we lack confidence, when we start to doubt ourselves, when we're unsure of what direction we're headed in, oftentimes we don't have this type of dialogue with ourselves. But when you can envision little you is sitting inside of you and kind of like watching TV through your eyes, it helps you to start having dialogue that is going to create that safety, that is going to regulate your nervous system. And it takes time, because in the beginning, our inner child doesn't trust us. You know, most of us who experience any type of abuse or neglect, even if it wasn't intentional, you could have come from a pretty good family, but still experienced some things that was hard for you. You could have still had some times where you felt alone and misunderstood. And so, you know, if you're not talking to that part of yourself, then that part of yourself is going to be almost like a saboteur. And it's not intentional. The inner child is not the enemy. Let me tell you, that's your best friend. That is your inner magician. It is the child inside of us that's connected to that Leo energy, right? To be able to hope and believe and have faith. This is why we would jump off the top of our bed and believe that we could fly. And we like really believe that we levitated in the air for a few seconds before we hit the floor. And who knows, we probably was, you know. But when you stop believing that it was possible, it stopped happening. So don't neglect your inner child at this time. Because what you needed, you're now aware, wise, and capable enough to give that to you. And that's actually what's going to help the moving pieces in your life to start to fall in place for you. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. Amethyst, my other favorite. I'm just putting out all my favorites today. Maybe this is your favorite too. But amethyst is a very soothing crystal. This crystal is really good for anxiety. So have you been feeling anxious? You know, have you been, maybe you have not been feeling grounded. And so I'm going to definitely recommend meditation for you to really take the time to do that. I know so many of us, because our mind is going, meditation just is resistance just to the word. It's like you're attracted to it, you want to do it, but you don't have to do it sitting still if that's not working for you. It's so many forms of meditation. You know, meditation basically means you're setting a specific intention and you're holding your focus on that intention. So maybe it will work better for you if you have a hard time sitting still and actually clearing your mind, because meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It's about being able to observe the thoughts coming in, and here we go with this word again, this phrase, and letting it flow, letting it go, surrendering, releasing it. You just acknowledge the thought and you return back to your breath. You acknowledge the thought, you return back to your breath. So maybe it will work better for you if you do what I call stacking, and stack your meditation with something else. So like when I'm doing my skincare routine, oftentimes that is a time for me to focus in on my breath, to set an intention. Maybe that intention is for me to show up today with the most vulnerable parts of myself, the most wise parts of myself to share with you in this reading. And so as I'm doing my self-care routine, I am setting an intention to be honed in on that frequency. And so I'm stacking it with something else. And sometimes it works better for me when I'm stacking it versus when I'm just trying to sit and meditate or lay down and meditate. And so there are many different ways. You can even walk and meditate. That's a good way. Meditation in the shower is another one that I enjoy doing. It helps me, and just visualizing that the water is helping to release the thoughts that are coming in. Like as the water's running over me, the thoughts are running through me, right? I'm allowing my mind to be soothed by the water. I'm allowing my emotions to be cleansed by the water. And so maybe you could use some of these things that I do and see how it works for you. And let me know, like if you actually go try it and do it, let me know. I feel like you'd be successful with doing this. And another thing that I want to say is sometimes society period has focused so much on the negatives of anxiety that we don't really give much thought to the positives. And so anxiety can be a really useful tool when you learn how to alchemize that anxiety. And so it goes back to the dialogue, the conversation that you're having with yourself. Okay, why am I feeling this way? You know, is it something that I'm thinking about that's creating this sensation of anxiety inside of me? And is there anything that I can do to change what I'm thinking so that I could adjust the way that I'm feeling? And you might discover that it is a thought that just keeps coming back to you, and that's creating anxiety for you. Anxiety also, something that I learned was that anxiety is me living in a future moment that hasn't happened yet, and it may or may not happen. And oftentimes it's connected to catastrophic thinking, and it's habitual, right? And so with catastrophic thinking, let's just say you're thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be late for work, and then after I be late for work, like they probably go write me up. It's gonna be an issue again. They gonna be complaining, whatever it is. Like when you start to ruminate and flow in that direction, you can stop that flow and you can reverse that flow and say, hold on. But on the other hand, I could be avoiding an accident on my way to work. And that accident could be a reason that I never make it to work. And the work that I do never gets done. It's okay that I'm late. Like as you're going through the motions, it's okay that I'm late. It could possibly be something for my benefit that I'm late. And this is just changing your dialogue, okay? Like that alone is gonna help to soothe that anxiety, because you're living in a future moment that may or may not happen. And you can actually alter that future moment by what you choose to do in the present. So that was something I kind of call anxiety time travel. It's like your mind is time traveling to a future moment, and you're already coming up with what's going to happen with that future moment, what the outcome is going to be of that future moment. You're even thinking about what's going to happen after that happens because of that future moment. And now it's a whole butterfly effect. Like it's a whole domino effect that happens. And you create ripples in your aura. And your auric field will carry that angst. And when you carry angst in your aura, it's going to disturb whatever it is that you have been working on manifesting and calling into your life. So there's no shame in that, you know. Anxiety happens to be something that I have struggled with a lot, and that's why I'm able to share this wisdom with you. And so you see how it had a positive, and one of those positives with me being able to share this with you. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Isis, Mama Isis, Mama Isis, Mama Isis. You gave me a word. I don't know if y'all watch my other videos when I'm not doing readings, but Isis gave me a word, and I was like, word? I was like, okay, we go ahead and share this one. But when I tell you, I be going deep. I be want answers. I don't want surface answers. Like, take me there. Take me higher. I share Isis. What message do you have? Whoa, I was definitely not expecting this. Okay, here we go. We have the eyes of Isis, but we have Horus standing in the middle, and his head is kind of in front of her third eye. This is like your divine masculine energy being healed. And one thing that happens when you start to heal your divine masculine is that you stop feeling like you have to be and do everything and always be productive. Especially like if you've ever experienced being a single mama, being a hyper responsible individual because maybe you were a parentified child. For whatever reason, you had to take on responsibilities and grow up fast. You know, our masculine energy has been groomed, and I'm using this word specifically, it has been groomed by the patriarchy to be productive, to be good workers, to be worker bees. You know, it doesn't allow space to be the queen. And the queen is the most powerful one on the chessboard. Life is literally a chessboard. And when you don't have access to your queen energy, it's also oftentimes the masculine is not yet in its divine energy. So this card says that the divine masculine within provides protection, discernment, healing, and a sense of deep safety and holding, even through the most uncomfortable circumstances of life. I was just talking about this at the beginning of the reading. Your inner masculine is going through healing right now, growing stronger in the ability to offer you inner protection. Key word, inner protection. I know what it feels like to look for protection in your outer world and to not see it. Is that feeling right there is just something you don't want to feel. So I want you to shift your focus to the inner protection. And here go the next key word that connects us back to the first cards. And stability. So that your inner feminine can blossom with creative expression. Like, literally, this is what we've been talking about. Matter of fact, last week's reading, I talked about healing the feminine, and your creativity is what's going to help you navigate some of these challenges. So, you know, you are capable of holding that space for yourself. Whether you are single or in a relationship, whether you are in a relationship, it's so much content now being pushed out about the divine masculine and the difference between that and the wounded masculine. And if you're in a relationship, especially like I'm recording this in Libra season. Libra season is all about relationships. We got a full moon coming up in Libra. Full moons, I mean, they illuminate the shadows of everything. Right? And it's a time of release. And so sometimes that content can actually make your relationship more uncomfortable because you're like, I wish my man would do this. Like, I wish he would hold his space for me. I wish he would, you know, just really focus on his self-mastery. I would feel so much safer if he did that. I get that. I did that for years. Even during the time that me and my partner was going live every single week, I was going through that. Because when you start healing, you unearth the woundedness, not just in yourself, but the wounds in others become more clear to see. Like Chiron is calling our attention right now too. If I'm not mistaken, it's in Taurus, which is all about safety and stability, all about the ground beneath your feet, you know. So know that when you create that inner stability that we already talked about, and I told you some things that you could do to do that, You're not going to need external divine masculine energy as much, because you're going to know that I am capable of creating safety and stability within myself. I am capable of providing protection and discernment within myself without burning out, without doing it the way the patriarchy told me to. One thing about the divine masculine, it respects the feminine. It holds space for the feminine. Are you holding space for your own feminine energy? Do you respect your own feminine energy? When you know you need to rest, do you respect yourself enough to put your phone on do not disturb and actually lay down, sit down, whatever, and rest? Like, are you respecting yourself in that way? Because if you're not, if anywhere you know that you are not treating the feminine within you the way the feminine deserves to be treated, to expect anyone or anything outside of you to mirror that back to you is disappointment. Automatic disappointment. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen that way. Because the universe doesn't want to disempower you. The Great Mother doesn't want to disempower you. She's back to empower us. And, that make me think about the dream that I shared. This was probably 2 months ago. This was in the month of August, actually, I think. End of July, early August, right before the Lion's Gate portal. And the Great Mother came to me in the form of a lion. She looked like a male lion. I was asleep. I woke up. She was sitting beside the bed. My hand was in her mouth. I freaked out for a moment. The dream felt so real. It felt like I had went to the zoo, climbed over the gate, fell asleep, and woke up and the lion was there. Can you imagine how your nervous system would feel? Like, I could feel her breathing. I could feel the vibration when she would purr. Just the mane, just everything. I felt it all. And I could hear my divine self saying, this is not going to bring harm to you. I know that this is a magnificent energy that you are not used to being so close to. It was so regal. It like demanded for me to be respectful and in honor. And it was so humbling to just be so close to that majesty and that power. And I asked her, like, is it okay for me to pet you? Now, this whole time, she is showing herself to me like a male lion. So she has the whole mane and everything. And she telepathically let me know it was okay for me to pet her. This is me trying to get myself out of fear. Just keep listening to these words, because whatever this dream, the message that this dream brought for me, I shared it with the collective as well, because it's a message for each individual person, and it'll be different for each person. But I kind of had to talk myself off the ledge to let myself know that I was safe. And she allowed me to pet her, and as I'm petting her, she started to feel more like a mother. She started to feel more like a protector. So this was the Great Mother showing me that her divine masculine is intact. Her divine masculine is nurtured and cultivated, and that is the reason why she's able to be the Great Mother. That's why she's able to have the type of energy. She was teaching me something. And with my hand being in her mouth, that message was like, your hands represent the things that you do, the things that you work, the things that you provide, the things that you touch, right? The things that are part of your life. And she was letting me know, like, I'm holding your hand. I'm holding you the way I hold my cubs in my mouth. And even after all of that interaction, it was so beautiful and so great. And my heart was beating so fast. And so I rolled over And I told my daughter, I was like, let's take a walk. So we left the lioness in the house. We went outside. And I ended up asking the neighbors if they happened to see a lion in the neighborhood. Or like, did y'all have a pet lion? Did y'all take y'all ass to Africa or something and came back with a lion and didn't tell nobody? Because it's at my house. And they kind of like laughed at me and was like, no, we haven't. And so they invited me in. I stepped in. I think maybe I was standing near the kitchen. And then a man knocks on the door and he says, I'm looking for somebody. And they was just like, who are you looking for? He was like, actually, I'm looking for a lioness. This was the first time I really conceptualized that this wasn't a male lion. This was a female lion. I didn't even know until that. And he said that the full moon is coming up and she is going to go in labor when the moon is full. And I need to find her and take her back to where she's supposed to be. Me just not really thinking, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just let him know the lion that he's looking for is at my house. What sense did that make? But it made sense to me at the time. And so I got ready to tell him that the lioness was at my house, and I was snatched out of the dream. And I sat up in the bed, and this was me actually waking up this time for real. Sometimes I can't even tell if I'm really waking up. That felt so real to me. So it felt like I had already woke up. But I woke up, I sat up in the bed. I could still feel all of the sensations in my hand from that experience. And I realized that the patriarchy doesn't want the feminine to step into this power that is being offered to us. And it is through nurturing our own divine masculine, healing our own divine masculine, that we're going to be able to step into that power with the divine feminine energy. So with a lot of the things that's happening with the economy, a lot of the things that's happening with major corporations, a lot of the things that's happening on every level, the collapse that we see happening is because of this shift. And remember the first card that I pulled, we was talking about animals. Had no idea that dream was going to be a part of this reading today. So, and just kind of tie everything in. And we're going through this cycle. And so right now, meditation is going to be key. All right. That was so beautiful. But like, did that dream speak something to you? Because I feel like for some of y'all, you like, you know what? That actually spoke something to me. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you get from that, because you know, you can interpret your own dream, but some dreams, because I'm an oracle, a lot of my dreams are for the collective of those that are awakening, which is why that's what started my YouTube channel, me sharing my dreams. And then I realized I was dreaming about future events that were going to actually happen, and I was helping people to be able to navigate events that had not occurred yet. It's crazy. You know, that's another story for another time. We're going to leave that one alone, but that's how that happened. Ashe. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay. Message. Whoa. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I'm so here for this. The Wheel of Fortune. I'm so here for this. I'm so here for this. Like, are you here for this? I hope that you was here for this. If you wasn't here for this, you getting this today, okay? We serving a dose of Wheel of Fortune because you deserve it. You deserve it. You've been through enough. You done had enough karmic lessons, okay? You learned from them karmic lessons. Your journal is full. I hope so. If you ain't journaling, we're going to be talking about that in the covenant too, because journaling is like it be the simple things that be the transformation we be seeking. It really do. It be the simple things. But you are coming to a point, again, the changes that you're going through, the cycles, is bringing you to a point where the fortune is shifting for you. It's shifting in your favor. We just talked about this, and that's why things feel unpredictable. When you start rewriting your narrative, when you start re-scripting new verses for you to live by, to the story that you are living by, when you start altering your Akashic records through your daily routines, your decisions that you're making, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you talk to yourself, all of these things lead you to a turning point. It allows you to step off of the karmic path and onto the dharmic path, which is more so about the things that, the merit that you deserve, the merit that you have cultivated and that is yours to receive. Like, this is a turn for the better. We talked about cycles, right? We talked about things turning around for you. Now, during this time, that don't mean that things ain't gonna be happening that's gonna make it look like something else, okay? Let anything that's happening that's making it look like something else be confirmation that it is what it is. This is the Wheel of Fortune. If you walk to the mailbox and get a letter saying that you got a medical bill for an amount that you ain't got, be like, Wheel of Fortune, here we go. Like, thank you, universe, here we go. I wouldn't even be getting this bill unless it was a Wheel of Fortune moving in my favor. Like, be Delulu a little bit, because doubting yourself and doubting whether or not the divine is working with you to create a new destiny is not helping you. You know, being Delulu a little bit, sprinkle a little Delulu in your daily life. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. People make it seem like being Delulu, it's like the reason why you don't manifest stuff. And it's quite the opposite. I even heard J. Cole in the interview talking about, you know, his success. A lot of it was because he was willing to be delusional. And he was willing to actually believe it, you know. And so, like, don't worry about it. You know, I know that things are happening and it seems like it's just one setback after the other. But that don't mean that that's what it have to be. The meaning that we assign to things happening in our life impacts our reality more than what's happening in our life. Did you catch that? That's how important you are. The meaning that you assign to what's happening in your life will impact you substantially more than what's happening in your life. That was beautiful. I think I heard Naruto in there. My little Dashun, he in there cutting up right about now. I think we made him cut a rug. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get into my self-care deck, all right? What's going to bring this energy in for you? Even though we didn't already talk about some stuff. We already talked about anxiety. We talked about meditation. We talked about spirit animals. We talked about healing, especially if you empathic. Like, healing yourself while you're in the shower or the bath is like, let that be a part of your routine. You have to wash the 3D matrix off of you sometimes. Literally. Do you have a routine to do that? Because spiritual hygiene is a very, very, very big part of this journey. Okay? And you want to make sure that you are, don't let your physical hygiene outdo your spiritual hygiene. Like, I feel like you benefit more when they're equal. And there are times in my life, especially dealing with chronic fatigue and chronic illness, there are times in my life where just getting in the shower, I just can't. I'm too tired. I'm dizzy. I'm not sleeping well, whatever it is. Shit, I take me a whole bath. I run me some good old warm whole bath. Put me some lavender in that shit. Sprinkle that lavender down in there, honey. And head to toe, I'm getting it good. Did I shock somebody? Don't get me started. Untamed ain't in my name for no reason. I am not here to try to be proper all the time. The proper lady. I'm gonna always say some shit that society said ladies probably shouldn't say. But yeah, sometimes I just have to take me a whole bath. And that is my self-care routine. And I ain't ashamed of that. Them whole baths, honey, they be getting the work done sometimes. Sometimes that be all I need. And I feel fresh when I'm done. I didn't have to exhaust myself being in the shower. Sometimes I be short of breath, and like taking a hot shower be the last thing that I'm able to do. Like shit be happening. And that's why I said I want my readings to speak to the people who I feel like aren't getting the spiritual nourishment that revolves around real fucking life and shit that a lot of us are actually dealing with. Like that's what we here for. That's what we here for. That's what we doing over here. It's funny that I just did that joke. I really want to joke because it was the truth, but the shit is funny. I mean, real life is funny. But I pulled this card right here. First of all, we dressed alike. Can we just acknowledge the outfit is like, honey, come through. And I just be putting on stuff that I feel comfortable with. I don't care about fashion, and what feel good to me is what feel good to me. That's what we wearing, and that's what we wearing. That's what we doing over here. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Okay. All right, that's enough. But this card says laughter. Laughter is a wonderful mood booster. When you laugh, it lightens your mental load and actually induces physical changes in your body. Laughter can stimulate various organs, activate and relieve your stress response, as well as soothe tension and help you to bond with those around you. I got a dirty joke that I really want to drop in here, and I don't know no other oracle tarot card reader to do dirty jokes during their readings, but it's just so fitting, and I might slide it in here anyway because that's just how I'm feeling. But I'm gonna finish reading this, and if it leads to that dirty joke, I'm gonna tell y'all the dirty joke. Okay, but it's funny that I was just talking about the whole bath, which it made me laugh. I don't know, was y'all laughing too? Because it was funny to me. But and then I pulled a card about laughter. It's spirit. Like, see, all of this shit was unpredictable. This entire reading was unpredictable. I had absolutely no idea. I didn't shuffle and pull no cards beforehand or nothing. You see, like, unpredictable can be beautiful too. But the self-care practice. So when you begin to feel uneasy, try to force yourself to laugh. I know it sounds crazy. And when because I have, with sickle cell anemia, like as I got older, I had pain like every day. It used to be like every blue moon. Now it was like every day. The pain is like, bitch, I'm riding with you. But I have to laugh sometimes. I really do. I have to force myself to laugh sometimes, and I just be like, okay, like, girl, what is you doing? Is you trying to break my ankle? Like, what is going on right there, girl? I'm gonna need you to calm down. I'm gonna need you to calm down. I'm having a whole conversation, and I can just imagine people probably really think I'm crazy because it don't matter where I am. If it hit, this what we doing. But just it start off real fake, and that's okay, But just try it and just see what happens. You might actually make yourself laugh. When you fake laugh, and you induce the similar benefits to a real laugh. And if you are lucky, you will even end up laughing at yourself while doing it and start to actually laugh. Number 2 is making a point to spend time with people who make you laugh. Let me tell y'all, he not my cousin, but in my mind, he my cousin because his jokes be like hidden. My jokes is far nastier, okay, than he is. But his jokes be nasty. But his name is Nate Jackson. I need you to go and find his video and add it to your playlist. Create you a Lift Me Up playlist, okay? And put him on your playlist. Nate Jackson, hilarious. I'm gonna have to ask some cousins and stuff. It's a lot of us Jacksons around here. I don't know, but in my mind, he my cousin because his jokes, I feel like this is how we like to joke around, like for real. That's like a typical conversation, But yeah, do that, okay? And let something make you laugh, all right? And so that was actually number 3, was to watch something funny. Because sometimes you ain't got funny people around you. Sometimes your kids make you laugh, though, you know? My kids be on one. Right? So they definitely be making me laugh. Generation Alpha, I don't know. Do anybody else out there got a Generation Alpha kid? Like, I thought the millennials, I got a millennial kid too. But Generation Alpha, the kids really be on one. And so here goes some questions that you can ask yourself to help yourself tap into this energy. What makes me laugh? Do I allow myself to find humor in my daily life? When you're dealing with chronic fatigue, burnout, chronic illness, or just toxic relationships in general, finding something to laugh about it is going to protect you. That is a form of protection. This is a form of spiritual protection. I know nobody else probably ever told you that. This is a form of spiritual protection. I intentionally do this. Even with my partner, sometimes he do stuff that irritate me so bad. And triggers is like one of my most favorite things, because that trigger, it's got some diamonds down in there somewhere. That pressure, okay, just you can apply pressure. That's all right. I'm gonna make a diamond out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I just started checking him. It just be between me and me, and I'd be like, what was the one I had? I was like, I got my panties in my ass all the time, frustrated face ass. I just, in my head, and like, he's annoyed, I'm annoyed, but now I'm checking him in my mind, so now I'm laughing. And now he's probably annoyed that I'm laughing, like, what you laughing at? And I'm like, I'm laughing at me. I'm making myself laugh. So it's so many ways that you can make yourself laugh. Actually, in the Turn Pain into Purpose course, that's still on my website right now. It's not going to be there forever. So if you already bought that course and you haven't completed it, a few of y'all haven't completed it yet, go ahead and complete the course, because I talk about this in the course. And I talk about giving nicknames to people to trigger you. And that way, every time they trigger you, just start calling them by their nickname in your head. The shit gonna make you laugh. Make sure the nickname is funny. You know what I'm saying? So it could be DJ Complain a lot, you know, and just in your head. You'll just have jokes in your head, and it's just an inside joke, you with you, okay? This is divine masculine energy. This is protection too. The other question could be, do I take things lightly and with a smile? And the shadow question would be, do I want to? Because sometimes we don't want to be lighthearted. Sometimes you can be addicted to being angry and frustrated. It's addictive because of the neurological component, the chemicals that are created by anger and frustration. It's intoxicating. And sometimes when you do the shadow work, you'll see, like, you know what? I be too damn serious. Like, it don't mean the serious stuff don't be happening and going on with me, but I could be a little bit more lighter. You know what I'm saying? I could be a little bit more lighthearted. Yeah, you could. You could benefit from being a little bit more lighthearted. You don't have to be so serious, because you attract, when you be too serious, you attract people and situations that's serious too. And don't nobody want that all the time, like all the damn time. Sometimes you be wanting to tell people to lighten up. So I'm asking you, do you lighten up? You lighten up first, and the world will start to lighten up too. But the dirty joke, I'm gonna put it out there just so if people watching me who not really in alignment with my energy will leave. You don't have to be here. Plenty of other people readings you can watch, but I'm not gonna change who I am for nobody. But the dirty joke, now I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, now that I'm in perimenopause, I've been using like different herbs and stuff to try to help me with that. And one of the benefits of the herbs is the increased libido. And so I find myself having a dialogue in my mind that I don't usually have. Like when I was in my 20s and stuff and 30s, it was different. But like when you're getting in mid 40s and so forth, things change. And so some of the herbs that I've been using, which I'm not going to talk about here, I'm not going to tell y'all what herbs those are. If you want to know, you can find out in the coven. All you got to do is come to the coven and drop a comment and ask me like what herbs you've been using. And I'll tell you, because like I said, I'm not offering no medical advice. All right. But in there, that's just the conversation. But it's changing my inner dialogue. And I was thinking, and it's so funny because I had not expressed this to nobody, but it ended up getting mirrored back to me. But I was like, you know what? Another good name for Halloween would be Swalloween. And I was like, I like the idea of that. And we could like really dig into that and call it Slobberween. We could do, let's do Slobtober instead of October. Licktober, Lickaween. And I had a whole, and like I went on like this for probably 3 minutes before I caught myself. And I was like, I just had a whole entire conversation with myself about renaming Halloween in October. I was like, what the fuck is going on with me? I said, you know what? Maybe I need to take a little bit less of this. Yeah, that conversation went on a lot longer than expected. And it just, I think if I wouldn't have caught it, I would have kept rolling with it. But when I got on the roll, I was like, Slobtober, like that shit is hilarious. I don't know. It was funny to me. He had me tripping. I was tripping on myself. I was like, girl. Back for those of us who are Gen X, like when you look back, we all of our music and culture, it was so hypersexualized, right? So I think like this is like the shadow of Gen X. It shouldn't be the shadow. I mean, sex brought everybody here that's here, right? But when you think back to the music we was listening to like in the early 90s, mid 90s, that music was freaky as hell. We was singing that shit like we knew what we was talking about. It's one song that came on the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, I was 14 when that song came out. But baby, we was singing that song like we knew what we was talking about. honey. Good times. Good times. Okay. Kalima. What guidance do you have for this reading? I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay, that felt right. Oh, Bhadra Kali. So beautiful. Look at her expression. Like, she looks so like she's just like so unbothered, and she is just in her power. She don't look like she worried about anything. If you don't take nothing else from this reading, I want you to take this with you through the week, where you like, you know what, shit working out for me. It might look wild and crazy right now. Shit might be looking a little untamed, but this is what I asked for. And in order for the new to come in, yes, some stuff got to go away. Some stuff got to change. All right. But Bhadra Kali, it says, our wild divine mother knows when to become gentle with our hearts, bestowing sweetness that liberates us from fear. Though you may have faced much struggle and challenge on your path, though it may seem only the most powerful intensity could stem the tide of negativity, the dark mother of grace will conquer the obstacles to your freedom with gentleness. She manifests herself now as Bhadra, the gentle. She will calm the waves of emotion. I talked about the shower, the water, the waves, the emotion. She will eradicate doubt and despair and provide safe and graceful passage through all difficulties. Everything we just talked about. Y'all saw me shuffle. Can't make this up. When spirits speak, you know. You can't fake this. Bhadra Kali, or wish-fulfilling Kali, is an auspicious and gentle form of Kali Ma. She is Kalyani, who gives peace and happiness. She is the giver of windfalls and blessings. That takes us right back to the Wheel of Fortune card. Right back there. Y'all, shit really finna turn around. Whoever watched this reading, like, I need y'all to feel this shit down inside your bones. Let this shit seep in. Let it land. She appears when a gentle way will best accomplish what is needed. Sometimes we are drawn to Kali because we need ferocity. Sometimes what we learn as we connect with her is that we deserve tenderness, sweetness, and gentleness, and that we have been far too hard on ourselves for too long. Bhadra Kali reminds us that we are strong enough to be gentle with ourselves. If we have been subconsciously sabotaging ourselves, she softly and deftly breaks the pattern. We no longer need to engage in unnecessary drama under a mistaken notion that it is necessary for growth. Sometimes the growth is in choosing to cultivate and apply the kindness, strength, and wisdom needed to disentangle and disengage from drama. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at that shit. Be like, they still talking bad about me. This shit is, I guess I am just way more important than I thought I was. It is about finding the inner strength to be true to ourselves in a moderate and peaceful state of being. Raksha Kali, without the protruding tongue, so often associated with fiercer forms of Kali, is an expression of Bhadra Kali, or gentle Kali. Raksha Kali has 2 arms, blue skin, and a gentler expression. She is celebrated on the eve of the Buddha full moon in May, which streams an abundant and blissful download of amplified grace to earth. Her presence signifies a time when an unusually powerful cosmic wave of spiritual light is very soon to become available to you. Like a surfer, sensing and paddling toward the perfect wave, you can attune yourself to the sublime current of divine energy and allow it to lift, guide, and move you. Then I say make you a lift you up playlist. It is a prediction of an imminent, joyful, and significant breakthrough. At this particular time, greater progress than usual is opening up for you. Raksha Kali is worshipped for protection from epidemics and drought. These are literal and symbolic protections. An epidemic is a mass contagion. It can be a swiftly spreading disease of the body, but also of the mind. Fearful collective reactions based on societal conditioning and manipulated through the media can spread like wildfire. I talked about that in the video that I mentioned to y'all. So go back and watch my other videos. If you've only been watching my readings, like watch my other stuff, you will be surprised in how all these things tie in together. It says the collective psyche of humanity is consistently being influenced. There are abundant spiritual sources of goodwill and peace constantly broadcasting divine love to humanity. And there are forces of negativity and mean-spirited disruption seeking to assert their agendas through the human collective too. The Kali wisdom within our hearts recognizes fear, fueling energy for what it is, no matter if it is dressed up as something else, and knows when and how to say stop. Kali's presence in our being commandeers negative forces. Instead of undermining us, we respond to those energies in such a way that our peaceful inner light increases. We become increasingly skillful in redirecting our attention, intention, and action along productive healing pathways. The presence of negative influence does not need to be denied nor decried. It does not need to be acknowledged without one becoming overly interested or engaged with it. Kali promotes fearlessness and confidence because she knows how to use all energies, including negative energy, to promote light and awaken and blissful freedom within the soul. This oracle indicates that your heart has the wisdom to transform even the most negative experience into a source of healing and freedom. You will not be negatively influenced by others. Although powerful in effect, your healing path shall be gentle. Another expression of the gentle side of our Dark Mother is Shayama Kali, the peaceful blue goddess. Her presence teaches us that it is not always effective to fight fire with fire or to try to overcome force with greater force. Her wisdom is that of gentle nature, able to calm, disarm, and diffuse. In that Turn Pain into Purpose course, I got a whole lesson on disarming and diffusing and calming. Like, that was so transformational for me. It was something that I tried to do as a kid, growing up in dysfunction. I had not mastered it. I had coping mechanisms that was actually feeding the chaos instead of disarming it. Y'all, like, if you already got the course, go ahead and finish it. Like, just set 30 minutes a night when the house get quiet or in the morning and just work through it. It's in there, and you can just download it and keep it. It's yours. Once you get it, you can download whatever in there and keep it and just use it as you need to. Even if you want to print it out and hang it up so it's always there. And when you need to diffuse some shit, you can diffuse some shit. You look, you be like, when they be like, there's a bomb and it's got 10 seconds on it, and you gotta be calm figuring out which cord to detach. And a lot of people like ticking time bombs right now. Let's just be real. All the fear that's been feeding into society. So, like, yeah, to be able to get rid of bombs, like, honey, don't be no ticking time bomb around me. I would diffuse that shit, and your ass would be confused and diffused, and you won't even know how I did it. There is not always a need to try and grapple and conquer. Sometimes the need is to simply let go. We talked about that. Nothing rightfully yours shall be denied to you. The simplicity of this can confuse. I just talked about that. I didn't even know that was coming up, y'all. I can't memorize these books. The simplicity of this can confuse those who have learned they need to pick up any gauntlet thrown by any person at any time. There's people who are always in fight mode, or maybe that's you. You don't have to be that way anymore. Just because another has created a reality for themselves and is attempting to draw you into it, it does not mean that you must participate. You have the divinely granted gift to choose where to invest your energy. Be strong so that you can know gentleness. And here's the invocation. So much of what we talk about was echoed back, but this is the invocation. Out of the fire of divine wrath, your gentle form emerges, calming the raging waves of emotion and disturbed fluctuations of my mind, and settling myself beneath your fiercely compassionate and tender gaze. I find steadiness, kindness, and peace. In this eternal moment with you, I am no longer afraid. Bhadra Kali, Raksha Kali, Shayama Kali, my heart softens as I take delight in the realization of your generosity and sweetness. With humble mind and willing heart, I bow before you, ready to receive with gratitude love, and wonder at your divine beauty and kindness. You are the unscripted creativity of the gentle, yet unyielding divine workings for the greatest good of all. Bhadra Kali. And if you wish, you can complete your sacred invocation ritual with a dance, with a Kali dance. You can do this with or without music. You know, just what your body feel like doing. Let your body do what it feel like doing. Express yourself. That freedom to express is the energy of Kali, right? It's the freedom to be untamed, uninhibited, right? You might can't control everything happening in your life, but you got some control over you. And you can chant Bhadra Kali, Bhadra Kali. I usually like to say it at least 8 times. And you can just feel and intend and visualize the Kalis within your heart shining out love and blessings. Allow your arms and hands to express fluidity, perhaps slow movements as you chant Bhadra Kali, Bhadra Kali, Bhadra Kali, Bhadra Kali. And you can finish your prayer dance of Kali with your hands resting over your heart. You can pause this and do this, or come back to this and do this, come back to this later and do this. But let me know if you do this. I want to know how it feels for you. Because I will be doing that shit too. Like, yes, Kali. And, you know, it goes back to being too serious. You know, a lot of with these spiritual practices over here in the West, the way we're working this into our journey, it has a lot less seriousness, and doesn't mean it's less honor and respect, but we know that the intention is to lift our vibration, right? And so as you're doing this, you can just visualize like golden light, like shining all around you. That's one that's constantly been coming back to me. But if it's a different color, use the color that resonates with you. And when you are ready, just imagine yourself sealing yourself in that light, in that presence, knowing that you are blessed and protected. And you can place your hands in prayer and bow your head, and you're done. So I gave y'all a whole dance routine. Y'all got a whole meditation. Y'all got some jokes. Y'all got something to put on your playlist to make you laugh. Like, to me, this reading, this was more like a monthly reading. I feel like this will carry you through the rest of the month if you use it. So I'm grateful to be able to have shared this with y'all. Share this video. It'd be like 12 people watching my videos. And I feel like so many other people would probably resonate and benefit from this information. So share the video. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure that bell is ringing so that you get notified when I post new content. And check out all of my links in the description. I got a spiritual shop. I have a coven. I have the course. I got courses. I sell the Functionary, which was on Bobby Hemmett's recommendation book list. A lot of different things I got going on. Tap into that, because at some point I'm probably going to phase out of some of these things as I'm shifting and being called to do new things. And if you've been with me for a while, you know, like, I be busting moves, and I move how the divine be telling me to groove, and that's just what we be doing. That's the way I choose, and that way I make sure I win and I don't lose, and I feel like I've been lit like a fuse. And I told you to practice learning how to diffuse, so you leave people confused, and people that be fucking with you will leave you alone because they like, damn, this energy go get used, even if it's negative. That's what they do. That shit is true. I'm gonna leave you alone and let you be you. Okay, I'm not gonna start with this shit. I'm about to drop a freestyle on y'all. We about to drop it out. But yes, I enjoyed this. I love y'all so much. So comment below, let me know how you feeling. How was this reading for you? Was it good as for you as it was for me? You know, and did something really speak to you? I would love to know. All right, y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Higher, I take you higher. secret, that sacrifice.